The president says he's set to make a major announcement on the government shutdown this afternoon, and Loyola Law professor Jessica Levinson joins us this morning to help us sort out a busy week in Washington. So let's get right into it. So the Democrats offered $1 billion for border security, but not a wall. So the president says he's not backing down on the wall, but what other things do you think that the president offers Democrats to get his wall and open up the government?
Well, I don't know. What's really interesting here is it's not really just President and Democrats. It's President Trump and now Nancy Pelosi, who's a very formidable negotiation partner. So what does the president offer? I think it really depends on whether or not Republican members of Congress and Senate say you need to say something else. I mean, what the president could say is, I'm not going to try and stop DACA. Those dreamers, they're safe. I mean, he could even talk about a path to citizenship. He could talk about ending the zero tolerance policy that separates families at the border. But I don't know that he's particularly in a negotiation state of mind right now. That may be different if we had this conversation in a week.
Yeah, and we heard this week that Nancy Pelosi couldn't travel. She had to foot the bill herself for a flight. So, you know, as the shutdown really is wearing on people, who do you think can actually give in first to stop it?
Well, and that tit for tat about the the flight was so interesting in the sense that, so first Nancy Pelosi essentially kind of uninvited President Trump to the State of the Union. There was this whole discussion that we've never have about basically who gets to invite the president, what's constitutional. And then he says, oh, and now you don't get a government plane to go on your trip to Afghanistan. And so what happens in terms of the who breaks first, if we look at what Nancy Pelosi did when she was negotiating with President George W. Bush about privatizing Social Security, I think the answer is that President Trump breaks first because she has said absolutely not me, and she's proven that before.
Let's go to the special counsel that's disputing a BuzzFeed article that says that the president told his lawyers to lie about lying to Congress, actually, is what I should say. Do you think that this is all true? I mean, BuzzFeed's coming out with this, but nobody's really been able to secure really what happened.
So two things should make us incredibly circumspect about this article. One, it hasn't been confirmed by another outlet, and you better believe the second it was published, all the reporters were doing at the New York Times, the Washington Post, the LA Times, etc. They were trying to confirm that story. And so the fact that we didn't see any other confirmation like we usually do is troubling. And for the first time in almost 2 years, we had the special counsel making a public statement saying that's not accurate. Now, a statement that the story is not fully accurate is different than a flat-out denial, but it's still unprecedented. So if you were going to try and find an example of how to undermine the public's faith in the media, if this article is untrue, this is a great way to do it.
Well, you know, this week, Rudy Giuliani opened the door that the Trump campaign might have colluded with Russia, but the president did not. So how does the revelation really change things?
Well, I think it doesn't that much in the sense that I'm not sure anybody was hanging on Rudy Giuliani's word. And it changes it in the sense that there was a drumbeat of no collusion, no collusion, no collusion. And there wasn't the caveat of, but only for President Trump, not for the rest of his campaign. So it could be that Rudy Giuliani was made privy to information that there was somebody who actually conspired with the Russian government. It could be that he's just decided to change his talking points. I think when it comes to Rudy Giuliani, it's very difficult to determine kind of exactly what's motivating him and perhaps even what his value added is.
All right. Well, there is a lot, I believe, that's going to come out this afternoon when the president speaks. So we'll be tuning in. Thanks so much, Jessica. We certainly appreciate it.